And we're live with another episode of BS Busters. Thank you for joining us. It's me, Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. Sir, introduce yourself.
What was that?
I said, introduce yourself.
Okay, this is Kenoshi Abominito. Glad to be here on another one of these BS Busters.
Glad to have you. Before we go any further, what you been playing?
Uh, I've just been playing, going between Expedition 33 and Fatal Fury, going between those two games right now. I haven't really been playing much. I haven't really played a lot this past week or so, but those were the two games I've been playing.
All right. Okay. Uh, uh, I've been playing mostly. Let me look on my Steam page. I've mostly been playing a lot of War Tales, which is a how can I put this nicely? War
How's the
Tales
wound?
is a tactical RPG, open world tactical RPG, where you play a group of mercenaries searching for wealth across a massive, low fantasy medieval universe. You explore the world, recruit companions, collect bounties, unravel the secrets of the tomes of the ancients. It's been heavily supported by DLC. Like, there's a lot of DLC for this game. There's the Skelmar invasion. There's the official soundtrack, which I don't have. There's the pits where there's like fighting arenas. There's a tavern where you can own a tavern. There's Pirates of the Balerion. It's a game that's been heavily supported.
What game is this?
War Tales.
War Tales?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You play a group of mercenaries traveling around a low fantasy. Like, there's a little bit of magic, but like it's very like you don't know if it's magic or just something you've never encountered before. Like, it could be the ignorance of the natives. Um However, there are massive creatures to fight. There's bosses, there's combat. Um there's player agency, so you can choose which factions to side with, which missions, how to resolve certain missions.
Okay.
It's one of those games, which I like.
Yeah, sounds interesting. Not necessarily my kind of game, but
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, everything is not going to be for everybody, but for me, I like games that are very like. I like open world tactical RP. I like open world RPGs where you can kind of do your own thing.
yeah,
Like, having an overarching story, it's like you are the savior of the universe. That's cool and all, but sometimes you just want to not be the savior of the universe. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I hear you. Want something different now and again.
Oh yeah, yeah. Playing a game that isn't on a where you don't feel like you're on a timer is nice.
Yeah.
But enough about that. Talking about games on the timer. So, I remember a few years ago, it was announced that EA was working on a Black Panther video game.
What was that?
A few years ago, EA announced that they were working on a Black Panther video game.
Huh. Yeah, yeah. I do remember that.
Yeah.
I do remember that. Are they? Is it coming out anytime soon? Do they announce it
No,
again?
they canceled it and they shut down the
Oh,
studio that was making the game.
of course. Seems to be the mantra these days.
Well, the irony behind all this is that EA made a record profit last year They made enough money to be able to do a stock buyback in order to pump up the value of the remaining stock that was held by people who didn't take the buyback. So
Yeah.
basically, like they made a lot of money last year. And yet apparently, how did they celebrate making all that money? Doing a stock buyback to make the value of the stock more valuable and firing a whole bunch of people and shuttering studios and games.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, man. That's modern gaming for you, folks. Modern gaming sucks.
Oh, it sure does.
I mean,
Sure does.
I don't like saying this, but modern gaming is hot buttered ass.
Yeah, unfortunately.
You know,
And it's probably unfortunately just going to continue to get worse.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the sad thing is that like I would have wanted to see a Black Panther video game because I mean, basically, you don't have to try that. Like, basically, if you wanted to make a good Black Panther video game, you would just have to emulate Arkham City or Arkham Asylum. Because
Yeah.
functionally speaking, if you made a Black Panther video game, Batman and Black Panther have similar fighting styles. Like they're
Yeah.
like Batman isn't going to go toe to toe with people. He's all about bouncing around, using his environment, jumping on people, knocking a motherfucker out, then bouncing around to another dude. He's not going to go toe to toe, mano y mano, unless it's like against some normal goons that he can take. And he's like, man, I'm gonna break your jaw, you know. But against like superpowered people, he's like, I can't do that. That is the way for me to get my ass kicked.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal opinion. Do you have any thoughts before we move on to the next part of this topic?
Uh, no.
No thoughts about them shuttering the Black Panther game or shuttering off the
I mean,
studio?
it's just seems to be something that's happening every other day. I mean, it'd be nice if
We didn't get used to the
everything
atrocities.
actually stopped. Yeah, I guess, at some point you just got to get used to it. You wake up and you grab your newspaper and or people don't read newspapers anymore, but for the sake of this conversation, let's say your digital newspaper and you ask yourself, okay, what studio is getting shut down today? Because it seems to be a typical occurrence.
All right. Okay. Okay. All right. All right. Enough about that. Let's move on to the next part of this topic. Well, considering that we can't seem to that we keep on getting like okay, we know that Insomniac is still making the Wolverine game for the PS5. Um, Presumably that'll eventually come to PC as well because Sony needs the money. Uh, we need the money. And I okay. Okay. I'll say my unpopular opinion early on. I don't think the Insomniac Spider-Man games were that good.
Yeah,
I thought the story was trash, and their use of villains was underwhelming to me. The first game, the major villain was, I want to say, Shocker. Here, let me look that up. Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Spider-Man. Insomniac Spider-Man. All right. The major villain was let's see here. Damn, I forgot. Oh, it was Otto Octavius.
Yeah.
But it's just my point behind all this is simply say this, okay? Like I don't think those games are really like everyone's like, "Oh, this is amazing." And I remember playing it at a friend's house and I'm like, "This is basically like a next gen version of Spider-Man Spider-Man the video game, Spider-Man 2 the video game based on the movie." Now, here's the thing. That is a great video game, but it's nothing revolutionary or new. Like it's not like, "Oh my god, this has changed everything." No, not really.
Yeah.
I mean, none of this shit's like, "Oh my god, I this has revolutionized how I play Spider-Man." Now, it's hard to get. Now here's the thing. For years, we got shitty Spider-Man video games. We didn't get the first halfway decent Spider-Man video game until the fifth gen with the Spider-Man video game, which each version was different depending on which platform it was on. The PlayStation 1 version is different from the N64 version, which is different from the Saturn version, which is different from the PC version. All four versions are different.
Yeah.
So, I but that's my own personal that's my own personal opinion. Anyway, so what do you think we could do uh to get better Marvel video games? Cuz like I said, I haven't played a good Marvel video game since Lego Avenger Lego Marvel Superheroes. And that game is from the 6th, well, 7th gen, 6th, 7th gen. It was cross gen cuz the sequel wasn't as good as the first game.
I guess just give it to any developers that care about the source material.
That's fair.
But,
That's a,
I mean, you're not going to get the most graphically intense game, but
no.
you'll get deeper Marvel stories.
I mean,
Probably.
personally, I just want something that's fun.
Yeah.
Like, okay, I'll give
Yeah.
you an example, right? I don't need a huge open world for there to be you could do a 4 to 6, you could do a 4-player co-op. Well, a single player to up to 4-player split screen or single screen co-op game, beat 'em up, doing all street level heroes. Like you could have Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, The Punisher, Iron Fist, and Spider Man, and you could have an entire game just set in New York. Just have them going around New York beating the shit out of people,
Yeah.
and you wouldn't like that could be like because they're already kind of doing that with that Marvel game that's being made that's a beat 'em up that like feels like a combination between Captain America and the Avengers and X-Men the arcade game. You know, I am Magneto, master of magnetism. Welcome to die. That type of shit. We could totally, like I just want look, listen, the games don't have to be 4K or have the best graphics. Just have a core concept that works and just play solid in a good state and I'm good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, that's just my own personal opinion. I But what do you think? Agree, disagree, don't care?
Uh, I'm not as heavily into the Arbor lore as you are in, so but at the same time, um, I can see people being disappointed in where the stories have gone over the years pertaining to the Spider-Man games. So yeah, it'd be nice to see these transfers or these uh franchises get treated a little bit better.
All right, that's cool. Um, all right, okay, all right, that's fair. Anyway, that's my opinion, and time to move on to the next topic. Um, just in summation, just you know, make just focus on a simple topic. Don't focus on massively impressive graphics on a simple premise. Don't focus heavily on massive graphics and give it to indie developers who can dive into the source material. That being said, next topic. This just I just read this today. Apparently, New York City is trying to do a video game festival, which is fucking amazing. I would totally go to a video game festival.
That could be cool.
100%. It's in New York City, but I mean, New York, like, here's the thing. If you went to a video game festival in New York, there's so much other cool shit to do in New York aside from just, you know, aside from just, going to a festival. There's good food, there's clubs, there's venues, there's Broadway, there's off Broadway, there's comedy clubs. Like, there's a lot of shit that you can do in New York. And don't get me started on the food. The food.
Yeah.
The food is delicious.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
yeah. Looks like there's a lot of decent restaurants in New York City.
go to Katz's Deli, go to Peter Luger's.
Steakhouse. That's not a steakhouse or something.
Peter Luger's? Yeah, Peter Luger's is a major
Yeah.
steakhouse.
Yeah.
So,
So what era of video games are they just? Is it just a general video games festival?
let me take a look. It was on Polygon, so, you know. Polygon. You just never know with those people. New York unveils details for its first annual New York City Video Game Festival. Okay, so cities around the world have been showing their enthusiasm for gaming as an educational tool, and New York City is helping to lead that charge with its first annual New York City Video Game Festival on Saturday, May 31st. Oh shit, that's like this weekend. The day-long event will feature esports competitions, arcades, and indie game demos, all taking place at Convene Brookfield Place in Lower Manhattan. The NYC Video Game Festival will also host the finals of the 5th annual Minecraft Education Battle of the Boroughs esports competition. The competition has fostered creativity among the school kids of New York City, and they're tasked with solving some of the city's challenges using the tools within Minecraft. For example, last year, kids were tasked with designing a new Brooklyn Army Terminal Climate Innovation Hub. Each borough of New York City will be sending 3 finalist teams representing elementary, middle, and high school for a total of 15 teams competing. In addition to the Minecraft competition, New York-based colleges will be sending their best and brightest Fortnite and Valorant players to compete in the 2025 Collegiate Championship. One of the teams competing is the Quad Gods, the first all quadriplegic esports team, which was recently featured in an HBO documentary. The May 31st event is just the beginning, as New York City is planning of hosting a variety of gaming events over the next several months as part of its New York City Summer of Games initiative. A full rundown of this summer's events can be found here. Okay, so basically, yeah, it's I mean, look, listen. Here's the thing. And some people are gonna get mad about this or not care. I don't really give a shit. The generation before ours, like video games were kind of like a passing fad for them. No, not the generation before our generation. So we're millennials. The generation before us is Gen X. Gen X and millennials, we grew up playing video games. The generation before Gen X, like video games for them were kind of like a passing thing. It's not something that they like, you know what I mean? Whereas for us,
Yeah.
like video games are a major part of our lives. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when I say major part, I don't mean like we're addicted to video games or anything like that. I mean shit like a valid form of a major part of unwinding for us might be, hey, I'm gonna spin up the console or pull out my handheld or get on my computer and play a video game for 30 minutes, an hour. And that's a form of relaxation for us. The same way, 30 years ago, someone may have just like sat down and watched a TV show or read a book or watched a movie.
Yeah.
For us, that is a viable form of recreation. For other people, older generations, not so much. You know, where the millennials and Gen X are the people, and the generations after us. We're the ones who actually know the difference between the various consoles. Whereas, 50 years ago, everything was a Nintendo.
Yeah.
Every console. It's like, this is Sega Gen. Hey, turn off that Nintendo. It's not a Nintendo. It's a Sega Genesis. Shut the fuck up and go clean your room. That's the shit we had to deal with. It's like, go do your homework. Turn off the Nintendo and go do your
Yeah.
homework. It's a PlayStation. Whatever. you know. So that's the type of stuff that we have to deal with.
Yeah.
But that's my own personal opinion. Anything else you want to add before we move on to the next topic?
No, hopefully it goes well. So,
Yeah, I hope so too. Next topic. Apparently, there's a Persona 4 remake in the works because they recast the voice actor Yuri Lowenthal, who's a voice actor. They recast him. I guess he was the guy who voiced your main character's first friend in the game.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh, the kid who worked at Junes.
Yeah.
I forgot his name,
It's
but
just,
anyway, so yeah, they he's like, oh man, they recast me. I'm okay with that. For me, I know a lot of people like Persona 5. Persona 5 is a little bit too much for me. Like it's trying to be
yeah.
too much. It's doing too much. Persona 4 is just enough. you know. And in Persona
Yeah.
4 deals with some really heady ass fucking issues. Um like, uh questioning your sexuality, um, loneliness, depression, uh, found family versus real family, um, mental trauma, emotional trauma, like some real hardcore shit in a 6th gen RPG game, dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. Anyone have anything else they want to say?
No. Oh wait, so they're making a remake of Persona 4? Is that what's going on?
Allegedly, it's being remade,
Okay.
which I'm okay with because that personally, that's like my favorite Persona. It's the easiest to get into. It's not too like because the Persona games are all about time management, right? Like you have to like manage. Okay, I have to manage my social links while at the same time manage my time and diving to the dungeon, while at the same time manage making money so I can afford shit, while at the same time managing the side quests, while at the same time managing dates so that I can with the other NPCs so that I can get the social links up so that they can power up their own personas. Because your main character is the only one who can have multiple personas. Everyone else just has the single persona that's their persona aspect. So, like Persona is all about time management. Like, let me put it this way: if you can play Persona 4, Persona 5, you know how to use time management well and do well in those games. Um, but
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, um, anything else you want to add before we move on to the next topic?
Uh, no, I'm good.
All right. Next topic. Apparently, Nintendo has is trying to get a handle on not fucking up the launch of the Switch 2, which is a terrible name, by the way. Anyway, let's agree that is a terrible name for a system, the
Yeah.
Switch 2.
Yeah. That ain't great.
I mean, they could have called it the Switch Next or the Next Switch versus the Switch 2.
Yeah. Yeah. That's definitely true.
Anyway, that's my own personal opinion. I could be wrong. Is there anything else you want to? I mean, is there any observations you have about or anything you hope they can pull off for their next home console release?
Mm,
Hey, fuck it, handheld. Let's just call it what it is. It's a handheld.
yeah, it's pretty much a handheld. Like you put a plug in your TV.
Yeah,
I don't know. Um, I'm gonna try to get a hold of one. Maybe when it comes out, if I can't, then I'll just wait until I can get a hold of one. That's just where I'm at when it comes to the Switch, because I just know how things are these days. Um, that's what I want is just a little bit better performance, at least on the first party side. First party side, I'm not really too concerned about third party, just because I'm gonna play all my third party stuff on PC anyway. So, um, mostly getting this thing just for Nintendo games. That's it.
yeah. And Nintendo games are very much like a. I was talking with a coworker. He's like, "Well, I wish that you didn't have to have multiple consoles in order to have shit." I'm like, "Yeah, but exclusives
It's been
matter.
like,
Exclusives
yeah, it's
matter,
been like.
especially when they're good exclusives."
I mean, if we could afford it, we've always had multiple consoles. Sometimes we only could have one. I know.
No,
I was for the longest time. At least for me, I could. I typically have one per generation. It wasn't until like the GameCube that I had a PS2 and a GameCube for a while.
yeah, for me, I always had at least two consoles. Like I would have, like even handheld wise, well, except for handhelds, because there was no one else really in the game except Nintendo. But like for the NE, I had an NES and I got a TurboGrafx 16, and then I got the Super Nintendo and the TurboGrafx CD, which hooked up to my 16. And then with the PlayStation, I didn't get a PlayStation. I skipped that generation for the PlayStation. I got a PS2. I got the fat PS2 that was backwards compatible, and I had the N64. But then sixth gen, I had the PS2 and the GameCube. Like I always had at least two consoles, and eventually two consoles and a PC. Um, it's only in the last is this generation that I actually have all three. Where I'm like, okay, I have PlayStation, Xbox, and PC, and Switch. So take PC out of it. I have all three consoles.
Yeah.
Um, and it just became like a money thing, really. I understand that. Oh well, people are like, oh man, I don't the money. I understand that. Because gaming is expensive. Gaming's even more expensive now with tariffs and all the other shit. But anyway, how you feeling?
I'm feeling all right. I just because I'm not super energetic today is because I just woke up from a nap when I came on the cast.
All right.
But yeah.
So with that being said, yeah, as far as Nintendo goes with their next console, I mean, I probably won't get one at launch because I just don't feel like, hopefully they will have gotten their production up, and I'll probably get one for Christmas or something. Get like a bundle because I like personally, I'm over Mario Kart. Like I played the shit out of Mario Kart 8. I don't want to play another Mario Kart for another 2, 3 console generations. Like I don't want to play another Mario Kart until the console after this console coming up. Their Nintendo's 10th gen console, uh, their next Switch handheld. I don't want to play until the 11th console comes out. You know what I'm saying? Because I played so much Mario Kart 8. Um, that being said, I'm pretty sure there'll be other bundles. There'll probably be a Donkey Kong bundle. I'll probably get that. Um, but you agree, disagree, don't care, don't give a shit.
I don't care.
All right. Anyway, that's the last little bit I got left with. The only other topic I'd like to bring up is that CD Projekt Red is finally starting. They've officially put their next Cyberpunk game into pre-production. I don't really give a shit because the last Cyberpunk game was underwhelming as fuck. And I'm even more underwhelmed with this when you realize that their next Cyberpunk game is going to be using Unreal Engine 5, which Unreal is overrated. Another unpopular opinion. Unreal is overrated as fuck, okay?
Yeah.
It's not a good game. It's not a good it's an overrated engine. I personally prefer engines that are made by the developer themselves because then they can do amazing things with that engine. For example, uh, case in point, um, the people who made Flying Wild Hog Studios made the remake of forgot. Here, let me look it up. I want to get the name right. Shadow Warrior. They made the remake of Shadow Warrior. They made Shadow Warrior and Shadow Warrior 2 using their own engine called the Wild Hog, the Flying Hog engine. Okay, they made their own engine, and those games are fucking amazing. Okay, then they made the third Shadow Warrior game, and it's in Unreal, and it's ass. It
Yeah.
is ass. It runs, it chugs to run, it has difficulty loading areas. It's a piece of shit. But people are gonna say it's great because it's Unreal. And I'm like, Unreal is overrated. You know, just because everyone uses something doesn't mean it's good, you know. Shit. A lot of people use cheap ass toilet paper. That don't make it good for wiping your ass. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
That's called the argument of popularity fallacy. Well, it's popular. That doesn't make it good. It means that's the only option you have. That doesn't mean that it's good.
Yeah.
All right. It's like back in the day, before modern medicine reached a certain point, they just cut shit off your body.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean that it's. That doesn't mean that that was the best form of medicine. You know, dentistry. Modern dentistry has only now in the last 100 years gotten to the point where they try to fix shit and save your tooth. You know what they did back in the day? Oh, I have a cavity. We got to pull that fucking tooth. They just yanked that shit out
Yeah.
of your head. That was the common practice. They would yank your tooth out of your head.
Modern medication has gone leaps and bounds in the past 100 years. That is
Yeah.
for sure.
So I'm gonna tell you right now, just because the common practice was they pulled the tooth out of your head instead of, you know, uh like nowadays, like, okay, when I was younger, they would basically use a drill, they would drill out the bad part of the cavity, try not to hit too many sensitive spots or nerve endings, fill it. Now they have medicine, they have medication they can put on your teeth to kill a cavity, rebuild the tooth. And it's like you never had a cavity at all.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
That's look,
Pretty crazy.
look, what a time to be alive.
Exactly.
But if you argue that argument ad populum, oh well, it's popular, everyone's doing it. That don't make it good. Shit, I don't want people pulling teeth out of my head, out of my mouth. Shit. Oh man, you got an infected toenail. Well, we got to cut that foot off. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Popularity doesn't mean that it's good. Just because everyone's using Unreal doesn't make Unreal a good engine to use. It means that it is widely available. Doesn't make it good.
Yeah.
Anyway, that being said, that's all I got. Do you have any topics you want to bring up before we move on to your unpopular opinion, if you have any?
Um. Nope.
All right.
Uh, I
Oh,
don't have an unpopular opinion at the moment either.
no free topic.
No.
Nothing you'd like to bring up? Okay. All right. That being said, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, play your games, etc., etc. Um, anything you'd like to pimp out? I know you have a channel,
Yeah, a
music
music
channel.
channel. Uh, Go check it out. It's Project Open Mic. Um, hey, go check it out. The latest song I released was "Maiden of the Moon," so
All right.
pretty good. You get a chance, swing by.
All right. Okay. All right. This is Mr. Red Fox, owner proprietor of BS Busters. I'm in the process of getting my other gaming PC up and running. I just bought like four terabyte NVMe SSDs off of Amazon, which I'm installing in my NVMe PCIe card. And then I got to hook the shit up and make sure everything works. And if it does, I will have 16. Well, 16 gigabytes. Sorry, 16 terabytes of SSD hard drive space. So that's the goal. Hopefully everything works out. With that being said, that's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, play your games. Enjoy playing your games. And even if it's something that might not be popular or other people might pick on you about, fuck them.
No.
All right. It's your time that you're investing playing your game. And if people can't deal with that, then to hell with them. That's the end of the cast. Rate, comment, share, subscribe, play your games, etc., etc. If you would like to get in touch with the channel, you can reach me at mrredfoxbsbuster@gmail.com, or you can join our Discord. Well, my Discord for the channel called BS Busters on Discord. The link is in the description. That being said, that's in the cast.